I'm Freya.
And I'm Nick.
And you're listening to Humaning with a Difference.
So wonderful to be together to discuss a topic that I think is fascinating, and I hope you do too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a topic that is used a lot, in everyday sort of conversations, but I think it can go very deep as well. Like it can become a deeply spiritual concept. I wonder if our listeners can guess. It's probably very hard.
Pretty hard, isn't it?
It's an expression. It starts with a type of metal.
Yeah, it's a metal.
And a lining.
Yeah, that's a big clue. It's
quite a precious metal as well.
Yeah, precious. It's not gold. No, not that valuable. Silver lining. And my input here is that a little bit of research that I did takes it right back to something like 1635. There was a poet, and there's some claims to say that he had the original phrase of the silver lining against the night sky. So that was quite a nice little thought that came across well to me.
Yeah, well, I think about the night sky and, there's all these analogies in there when we think about the good and bad in life and, light and dark and day and night and the dark night of the soul. And there is something beautiful about the night and the night sky. It's a different energy, isn't it? The dark.
And I think that the reality is that life is full of light and dark and change and challenge and ups and downs and left and rights and mixture of
twists and turns.
Yeah.
Plot twists.
Yeah.
We love a good plot twist. So I'm kind of interested in, what silver linings have you experienced in your life that come to mind?
Yeah.
That you're happy to share.
Yeah, there's many that jump at me, and I very much look forward to hearing yours, because hearing other people's silver linings are really interesting and intriguing. And the obvious one for me is becoming blind at 7, and it was sudden and total and obviously traumatic and involved a level of grief, not just to me but people around me. And then when I look for the silver lining, and often I'm asked this question, what would happen if I didn't lose my sight? And I don't have the answer to that, but I think the silver lining is when I look at what I've been able to do in life, and that's been interesting as a person.
Yeah. So are you saying that you feel some of the experiences you've had in your life are because of losing your vision and becoming blind? And I feel like, because, you would have had probably, given your nature as I know it, you would have probably had a wonderful life either way. But what do you think specifically are, like, if you can go into more specifics around what aspects of your life do you think are really due to your blindness? Like, what silver linings?
Initially, I would love to hear your thoughts about this and how it compares with you. When you have some disability or loss of anything, it's a matter of adapting. And in my case, it's the discovery of your other senses and development of those other senses of hearing, taste, smell. They became more heightened, and I had a stronger awareness of things that I'm certain wouldn't have happened if I had maintained my eyesight. And you? What's your feeling, uptake on this?
It's interesting because I relate to what you're saying. I think, and it's funny because I'm a very sensual person, in terms of all the senses, as you say, taste, smell, touch, hearing, higher guidance, other realms. Apparently we have like dozens of senses.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's not the first thing that comes to mind, because it's probably those other senses have been heightened, and appreciation of other sensual experiences has been heightened. But I feel like maybe that would have been in my nature anyway. I don't know. But I think one thing that also comes to mind for me is, I suppose, a level of resilience. Like, I feel like I felt immensely challenged by having low vision, and maybe some of that was due to how I grew up and so forth. But But, you know, I think it's also led me to, I think, be more at risk of or susceptible to unhealthy relationships and power dynamics and lots of discrimination, you know, like to be real about it. But I feel that with all of that, that's really forced me to do a lot of inner work. Right. And I feel as a result of that, I'm quite an expanded and expansive person, and I'm very open-minded. I think that's another silver lining is open-mindedness, because, you know, we have to find alternative solutions and we have to think outside the box. We live outside.
And you definitely do. And your resilience is really fantastic. And in the short time that I've known you, your resilience and your ability to show emotion, I think, is really important when I look from an outsider into your life and being is interesting. And what I really like, and this is something that we all probably could be more aware of possibly, and that is what you're doing is learning and being open-minded and really not prepared to just drift along day in, day out without having some self-look. Would you think so?
Yeah, I do. I do believe in sort of doing all that I can to kind of make my life good and hopefully also contribute to the community. And sometimes I feel like with my disability, I feel that, you know, that does become like it requires dedication. And I think that, you know, dedication to having a good life and dedication to one's values, because it is easy to otherwise, as you say, drift along or be uninspired or feel defeated. And I've definitely had times
same here.
Of feeling that way, including in the last few weeks with running out of NDIS funding. Like, I mean, that I've had to work harder, I think, to not feel defeated in the last few weeks.
I imagine you are really drawing on your resilience, and I think I may have mentioned this earlier, and that is change and challenge. And I often link those two things with such as what you've experienced, but lots of other things too. When a sudden change occurs, and I imagine you experience that grief, the initial grief, and maybe shock even, or surprise, and then it's the challenge. Do you think that comes into play?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a test. Like if I just use this example, because it's honestly, in the scheme of things, a fairly minor example to run out of NDIS funding for a few weeks. In my case, in other people's cases, it could be, you know, life-threatening. But yeah, I guess I have enough resources and skills and capacity to, you know, stay alive. I feel like it has been hard, and it's kind of a good example, I suppose, because it has been a hard and will continue to be a bit of a harder period for 4 or 5 weeks. And I'll have to, you know, it's been harder for me to stay motivated and focused and do my creative things, and, you know, also participate in kind of my social relationships. But I think once life is smooth again and the problem is resolved and I have what I need, I will have become stronger, you know, like I will have cultivated more strength and suddenly it will feel easier.
I wonder whether with each time we experience something in life where I suppose the cliche might be where the rug is pulled from under your feet and suddenly you're on your bum on the floor, and it's like the sudden shock, that not that it becomes easier, but that we can realise that we are able to manage these things that inevitably will happen to us whilst living and experiencing it. I suppose that sort of leads me on to something else that I'd like your feedback on. I was talking to a person today and who has just remarried. He had 7 children with his first wife.
Wow.
And they separated or divorced 6 or 7 years ago. He has just recently remarried a younger woman. He had never really dated since his divorce, and I asked him how it felt, and he said that they had drifted apart, but it wasn't easy when the separation divorce occurred. It was very difficult dealing with that, and that was for me the big change that occurred. They took the brave step because they both felt it was a right step to go different ways. But now the silver lining comes into play in that he now has a wife that he's happy with. They are really comfortable together. As far as I know, his first wife is doing well and the family are comfortable. The extended family, for want of a better word, are happy. And I'm sure this would apply to quite a few people potentially who are listening.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is an interesting topic. It's like it can be extremely hard to go through separation or divorce, speaking from recent experience. But I feel like often the right choice is also the hardest choice.
Agree.
And for myself, I can say, having separated from my husband almost a year ago, well, a year ago technically, but he moved out a bit less than a year ago, and it's been hard. And there have been other challenges that have come up. Like, I feel like I have been quite tested in the past year, and even so, I don't regret my decision. I still absolutely feel I made the right decision. And my quality of life, even if there's more challenges, my quality of life is better because I'm living more in alignment with my own sense of feeling and my own energy. And so I have more energy even if my life is also harder.
I'm assuming over this last 12 months in that journey, there have been some times when you've sort of questioned what you've done, or not you, what you both decided, and that sort of hasn't been. I'm assuming this wasn't as a smooth pathway. Would that be right?
It has been rocky, and I have had, but only a few moments of doubt. Only very rarely have I had the thought come in that, did I do the right thing? Because he was and is in many ways a very lovely person, very generous, very devoted, very committed, but energetically I felt so drained, by the relationship. And so it's interesting. So I have had those moments of doubt, but it just goes to show as well, like I had a lot more privilege and convenience and comfort when I was with him. He was very generous with driving me all over, picking me up, did a lot of the online stuff and admin related stuff, paid the bills and shopped. And whenever I needed assistance with something, he was sort of there. And that wasn't necessarily great for the relationship. I think I've learned that as well. But also, it was a big sacrifice just to sacrifice all that, on top of having someone who really loved and cared about me. But, sometimes all those things can be factors and still it's not the right thing to stay,
Yeah, I can relate to what you're saying. I've seen this happen quite a number of times in my life where people would make that. I actually admire people who can make that decision and step and go through that, my words, pain threshold where you have to experience pain. And I'm wondering, in your case, just when the silver lining, has it come yet, or is it evolving, or when will the silver lining show itself in its full being?
I feel like it's shown itself actually from the beginning. And like you said, I am very in touch with my emotions. So that helps me to process and access silver linings quickly and easily.
Yeah.
Hopefully there'll be more. It's like the gift that keeps giving. When it first happened, I did go through a lot of grief periods. So I had some real grief stuff, and not even necessarily, like, it was grief for the relationship, even though I'd grieved a lot during the relationship as well. But it was also all these wounds came up from my childhood with my family. I couldn't speak to my family for a while. I was too much in grief. But I think there's gifts in that as well. Like, okay, if there's still stuff that needs to be looked at or dealt with, then it comes up. And, I think, crying in itself is a really good practice. And it's like just requiring a lot of care, but also building a lot of strength through that. And I don't want to just be all, toxic positivity. I don't want to do that. I don't want to say it was all amazing, but I do feel like I got a lot out of the experience. It was a rich experience to have. And so I think it's just made me stronger, made me more compassionate. And I think with our life experience as well, and you might relate to this with a lot of what you've chosen as well, because you've chosen to do really hard things. And, I feel like we become stronger and richer, and maybe for me, at least, I feel I become more creative, more connected to the human experience because I've had more experience.
I think you're right. And I'm certain our listeners can relate to everything you were saying. themselves or people that are close to them who have had similar experiences. And what I really like from what you're saying is, again, your openness and your willingness to be aware of what's happening around you, your family, as you mentioned, your family, your emotions. You're not afraid to cry. You're not afraid to, I think, to reach out to people for support. And that is a risk that people have, is when change and challenge occurs, that they feel it's up to them. And this type of happening is something that you don't have to do on your own, that you can share and get support and advice and thoughts and from those that you trust and who are authentic and that you can discuss.
Yeah.
In particular. So I really like that with you, Freya, about the way you've shared that very openly with our listeners and about your life over the last 12 months.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. And thank you for, hearing it and receiving it and holding space for that.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. And you mentioned about some of the things, I was thinking back to where, as some people might say, that light bulb moment in life, where one of the hardest things I ever did, and the silver lining definitely happened after, was an event I did in South Africa, a running event called Comrades, where you run 90 kilometres. And I was absolutely petrified. It was scary. I doubted my ability. I really didn't think I could do it. I was going to fail. The negatives were coming through very strongly. However, what happened was the support people in that little group of people helped me to get through what I thought was really almost impossible. And when we completed that event in 11 hours, 14 minutes and 11 seconds...
Wow, 11, say that again, 11 hours.
14 minutes and 11 seconds.
411. You've got some angel numbers in there.
I'm sure I had some angels on my shoulder most of the way. I needed them. But the silver lining was for me that I learned not to doubt my ability, that I was far more capable of handling adversity and challenge. That was a huge silver lining moment for me.
Yeah, I can imagine. And it's so interesting, isn't it, how these experiences can really show us our strength. And I also feel like you're an incredibly strong person from what you've done and the things you take on. And probably that also comes from some of your earlier experiences in life.
Yeah, as I mentioned, I lost my sight early. I had a loving family, but a poor family. I think this resounds with what you said. It taught me about resilience and coping with what I had. But what happened was the discovery of good people. And also another silver lining for me was being given an education. Education is a huge, to learn and to start believing that you are capable of, whether it be reading, writing, interacting, speaking. Those things helped me a lot in my maturity. But like you, it was definitely at times very challenging too. And blindness is challenging, isn't it?
Oh, hugely, hugely. I mean, I still feel challenged, sometimes just in a room, like a dance or some other event where I can't recognize faces and I can't necessarily tell if someone's talking to me or not. And there's that social awkwardness, isn't there? And that,
definitely.
There's that kind of, that requires a different kind of resilience, and it's quite constant, it's not like these big one-off life events, but it's sort of, you want to go out and connect with community, and there's just a challenge in that, isn't there?
It's challenging. You remind me of I think one of the most challenging times of my life as a young adult, and again, I'm sure our listeners relate to, when you're trying to discover another person in friendship or relationship. The challenge you have with blindness is that you cannot read body language.
Yeah.
Facial expression.
Yeah. Or make eye contact with someone across the room. Like eye contact is such a big thing in building connection and chemistry.
And it's just huge. And people, as a young person, and I want the listeners just to try and imagine this situation. I'd go to a party with with enthusiasm. You invited me to your party,
Yeah.
and I get there. Tonight's the night. I'm going to find someone. And then there's loud music. There's 100 voices all impacting. And someone might come up and it might be you, and you might say, "Hey, going Nick." I'm thinking, "Who's that?" "Oh, it's Freya." And I can't see the body language. And your body language might be saying to me, "Come and get me, come and get me, come and get me." No one's saying, "How's school going?" or "How's work?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bit of challenges.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you have Summerside, so I'm not sure how well you were able to manage that with Summerside, but not a lot.
Yeah, and it's changed over the years. But even just recognizing people's heart, and I think sometimes because people don't always know, like some people are more perceptive than others, but not everyone knows. And I remember when I was young, and sometimes I'd go and I'd meet people and they'd be like, "Don't you know who I am? Don't you remember me? You never remember me." And I was like, I'd be like, no, it's just that I don't recognize faces. And they're like, "Oh no, you're just saying that. Stop lying. I just don't have a memorable face."
Yeah, that's right.
And it would be like stuff like that, like people would think I was rude or ignoring them.
Yeah.
I had a stalker once. It's not particularly a laughing matter, but I've had stalkers more than once.
Really? I've never had a stalker.
Sorry, Nick, don't take it personally.
Tell me the serious one.
No, but it's a funny story. I mean, he used to sort of write me letters and leave flowers and like fruit on my parents' front porch. And this is after I'd left. I was staying with my parents for 6 months. I had my baby after leaving his dad. And so I stayed there for 6 months, and I guess was wandering, like would walk around the neighborhood, going places or whatever. And anyway, so I think I'd had a few conversations with him, but we'd never hung out. We'd never exchanged numbers. I just thought, okay, I'll just be friendly to this neighbor who's friendly to me. But then in one of his letters that he wrote me, he said he loved I don't think he realized I was vision impaired or had low vision because I wasn't using a cane at the time. He wrote in one of the letters that he loved the way I could sometimes ignore him.
I should have had 1 million stalkers. Here's another classic. I'm sure that a lot of our listeners who are happily married can relate to that ignoring each other. And yes. That might be part of love.
It's the black cat. I don't know if you don't, in relationships now, the young people, they're talking about, whether you have golden retriever energy or black cat energy. And usually there has to be a golden retriever and a black cat in a relationship.
Really?
But the black cat is definitely the one who ignores you whenever it's just not in the mood.
Well, I've got the golden retriever. Actually, the black cat. Okay, I know what I'm doing tonight. I'll have to get someone to look up an advert, find a black cat and that.
Yeah.
But I suppose, I hear what you're saying. Where's the silver lining that comes from these experiences? So with the person, what did you learn did you learn anything from that experience or?
Well, I think I had shame for a long time about my disability. I mean, with the stalker, friends or people would read me the letters. I couldn't even read them myself, ironically. And we would just kind of laugh about it. But until, it started to feel uncomfortable and a bit dangerous. But yeah, I think in general with that, ignoring people or missing social cues or, being excluded from a level of communication, I feel like it probably builds a different kind of resilience over time if you really work on it. Like for me, I think I've really had to work on firstly acceptance of who I am, despite the fact that there's a lot of messaging about people with disability not belonging. But yeah, I've really had to, I guess, grow my resilience around self-acceptance. I think it requires a great amount of self-acceptance.
And from that, I'm very aware that you've been successful and having had a baby and a child that now is an adult, but you've been very successful as an advocate and you've done writing and creative body movement. For me, that's part of your silver lining.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's your success.
Yeah.
And your creativity.
Yeah, well, thank you, Nick. Thank you. That's such a beautiful acknowledgement to receive. And yes, I think you're right. And I think I mean, I feel like we have to work pretty hard, don't we, to achieve what some people might achieve easily just in the small day-to-day. And I think it grows drive for me. I don't know about you,
it does.
but, I feel sometimes it can look like I'm less productive than, say, someone who has a really high-powered 9-to-5 job. But actually the work that sometimes gets put into the simpler things is quite a lot. I feel with low vision, and I think it's sort of, we value things when they're hard won as well, don't we?
Especially when we're on our own. Sometimes we have meals before our podcasting, and we've had to negotiate our way through to a restaurant, or we went to one the other day, it wasn't open, it was shut for the day, so we had to find an alternative. And decide where we were going to go. We negotiated people and tables and discovered we can do it. And we understand, and this happens to other people who I think that are connecting, and that they understand it, they understand the disability, they're prepared to have the moments when things are not going right. Maybe we'll bump into something. Well, I'm sure we will at some point. Yeah. Maybe later today.
Yes. Yeah, well, we've got our walk to the station coming up.
That's right.
Which we'll probably need to get to quite soon. But I agree. It's like there can be all these bumps and unexpected this and that. And also I found with people, like when we do go out and we're like, okay, how do we read this menu, or how are we going to figure out what to order, and how there's so many little situations that require like problem solving, and that when I'm on my own, I feel like, oh gosh, such a drag to have to ask someone what's on the menu, but when we're together, it becomes this adventure, doesn't it?
That's right, it's an adventure.
It's an adventure, and it's kind of, when it becomes shared, it's like it goes from being something that's really heavy to being something that can almost be fun, playful.
And I'm going to dob you in, Freya.
Yeah.
Twice it's happened. You've lost your cane. We've had to ask someone to find your cane, which is great. I think I might have been one that asked, but it could have been you.
And I've been like, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. Let's just go. Don't ask me. It's a sign. My vision's getting better.
Second, another time was when Freya lost both earrings at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Initially, you went searching on your own.
Yeah.
And then you came back. Did you find? No, you didn't find one.
I didn't find any. I thought they were lost.
And who found it?
The waiter was so kind.
Yeah, he was lovely, wasn't he?
He actually went to the bathroom and looked for me. The bathroom wasn't even in the restaurant.
Was it male or female?
I think it was unisex.
Unisex. Oh, that was.
But yeah, no, it was so lovely. And you said that you thought I just liked men crawling around the floor for me.
That's right. I had a visual imagery of that.
Yeah.
But the silver lining is he found them.
Yeah.
And you were happy to have your...
But the kindness.
The kindness and the human... See, that wouldn't have... Unlikely to happen if you had side.
Yeah.
Yet someone has stepped up and supported, and you were very appreciative, and I'm sure he felt good that he actually has assisted someone and helped them to find what was precious to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because, another thing that comes to mind for me in terms of silver linings, and I think we'll have to explore these more next episode, is compassion, kindness, and creativity. Like, I think they are all things that we get out of challenge. And again, not always, but if we have the right resources and we have enough privilege, I guess, as well, to be able to work through the challenge in a conscious and intentional way, then I do feel like there's real opportunity for kindness and creativity and compassion. And I think we both have that in spades. So I think we should do another episode on that.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Yes. It's been so nice chatting.
Likewise. And all the best to our listeners. We really value our listening audience, and we both hope that what we're saying you can relate to and share with other people that you come across, and that is thought-provoking. May assist you in your own lives to some extent anyhow.
Well, I think just reflecting on silver linings can be a really empowering practice, and potentially there's other people who you've shared silver linings with or who've helped you create or recognize a silver lining, and maybe you want to share this episode with them or chat with them about the gifts that you've received from your silver linings and perhaps the supports that emerge.
Thank you for tuning in to Humaning with a Difference.
You can find our contact details in the show notes, and happy humaning.